Good morning, my dear students. We were discussing chapter 6, An Angel in Disguise. We were discussing the summary and we discussed till the death of that poor woman. Today we will see Joy Thompson takes pity on Maggie. A man named Joy Thompson, the wheelwright, took pity on Maggie and decided to take her with him for the night, but planned to take her to the poor house the next morning because he knew his wife would not approve of her. Joe was a kind man and liked children. He lifted her in his strong arms and took her to his house. Now his wife, who was childless, was not a woman of saintly temper. She saw her husband approaching from the window. When Joe entered his home with Maggie in his arms, his wife was enraged and said, "You have brought home that sick bat." Anger and astonishment were in the tone of Mrs. Joy Thompson, and her face was in flame. Joy did not reply except by a look that was pleading and cautionary, that said, "Wait a moment for explanation and be gentle." Joy explained to her that after her mother's funeral, everybody went away. She was left alone in her hut. So he had brought her there. He told her that he would take her to the poor house the next day. She told him to go at once and leave her there. This is an act of kindness which Joy Thompson showed towards our bedridden Maggie. In the beginning, we will see Mrs. Joy Thompson, who is ill-tempered, being angry and astonished towards that little girl. "Jane," said Joe, with an impressiveness of tone that greatly subdued his wife, "I read in the Bible sometimes and find much said about little children, how the Savior rebuked the disciples who would not receive them, how he took them up in arms and blessed them, and how he said that whoever gave them a cup of cold water should not go unrewarded. Now, it is a small thing for us to keep this motherless little one for a single night, to be kind to her for a single night, to make her little comfortable for a single night." The voice of the strong, rough man shook, and he turned his head away so that the moisture in his eyes might not be seen. Mrs. Thompson did not answer, but a soft feeling crept into her heart. "Look at her kindly, Jane. Speak to her kindly," said Joe. "Think of her dead mother, and the loneliness, the pain, the sorrow that must be on all her coming life." The softness of his heart gave eloquence to his lips. Here we can see that Joy Thompson is trying hard to console his wife. He is trying to explain that children need special care. He is asking his wife to feel the empathy. And Joy Thompson wanted his wife to be kind towards Maggie. She must speak to her kindly. She must look at her kindly. And this is the first time in this story that we can see the voice of the strong and rough man, Mr. Joy Thompson, shook. His lips shook, his voice shook because of the sad feeling that he has. After this conversation, we can see a change in Joy's wife. While Joe was out at work, his wife spent the day with Maggie. When Joe returned, he saw Maggie laying a little raised on the pillow, with the lamp shining full upon her face. Mrs. Thompson was sitting by the bed, talking to the child. He was happy to see a change in his wife's attitude. A deep drawn breath was followed by one of relief, as a weight lifted itself from his heart. Joy entered the house, but did not go immediately to the little chamber. His heavily tread about the kitchen brought his wife suddenly from the room where she had been with Maggie. Joy thought it best not to refer to the child. "How soon will supper be ready?" he asked. "Right soon," answered Mrs. Thompson with no roughness in her voice. After washing his hands and face, he went into the little bedroom where Maggie was laying. He looked at Maggie and saw that it had a lovely face. "Your name is Maggie," he said, as he sat down and took her soft little hand in his. "Yes, sir." Her voice struck a chord that quivered in a low strain of music. "Have you any pain?" asked Joe. "Sometimes, but not now," replied Maggie. In this area we can see the love and care of Joy Thompson and Mrs. Joy Thompson. They both are trying to make Maggie more comfortable. In order to keep his wife calm and quiet, Joy Thompson did not ask about the little girl when he entered into the house. He went to the kitchen and lifted up all the plates and looked what is there to eat. That sound took the attention of Mrs. Joy Thompson, and she suddenly came back from the room where Maggie was laying to the kitchen. He asked, "How soon will supper be ready?" She said in a polite way, "Right soon." Mr. Thompson understood that the roughness and the anger from the heart of his wife is vanished. After that he went to Maggie and inquired about her situation. After that we can see Mrs. Thompson takes care of Maggie. Mr. Thompson and Maggie continued conversing with each other. Then Mrs. Thompson came and said that supper was ready. Joe glanced from his wife's face to Maggie's. She understood him and said, "She can wait until we are done. Then I will bring her something to eat." After some time she said, "What are you going to do with that child?" "I thought you understood me that she was to go to the poorhouse," replied Joe. Mrs. Thompson gave food to Maggie and asked her if it was good. The child answered with a look of gratitude that awoke to new life old feelings which had been slumbering in her heart for half a score of years. "We will keep her a day or two longer. She is so weak and helpless," said Mrs. Joy Thompson. Here we can see the willingness of Mrs. Joy Thompson to take care of Maggie. She expressed her willingness to take care, and she says, "We will keep a day or two longer. She is very weak to go to that poorhouse, and she is helpless too." The child's reply about the food melted the heart of Mrs. Joy Thompson. She was without a person to love and care. These couples were childless. At the end of the story we can see that Maggie as a blessing. Mrs. Thompson grew very fond of Maggie. The Thompsons ended up keeping Maggie, and she became a blessing. It had been dark and cold and miserable there for a long time, just because his wife had nothing to love and care for out of herself, and so became sore, irritable, ill-tempered, and self-afflicting in the dissolution of her woman's nature. Now the sweetness of that sick child, looking ever to her in love, patience, and gratitude, was a honey to her soul, and she carried her in her heart as well as in her arms, a precious burden. Maggie was an angel in disguise.